Bueno, muy buenas tardes. Vamos a comenzar entonces con la lectura del artículo. Cryptocrime, Approach from Transactional Crime and Money Laundering in Colombia, by Ruth García Otero and Ricardo Méndez Díaz. Abstract. Transnational organized crime presents a challenge to the law and specifically to the administration of justice and the public force of the state since its methods and machinery permeate the social, political, and economic spheres, hiding themselves in legality, the development of modern technologies, artificial intelligence, and the arrival of cryptocurrencies further challenge the capacities of control entities and the need to regulate the disruptive actions that these advances produce in the spheres of world order, such as the so-called cryptocrime. This study aims to review how organized crime in Colombia use cryptocurrencies for money laundering through the theoretical deductive analysis of research and reports, concluding that as of 2025, cryptocurrencies are a method commonly used for money laundering. The ease with which this can be done despite the controls and evidence of movements and transactions means that it is imminent that, in the immediate future, its use for this purpose will continue to increase, resulting in a challenge for forensic science, legal systems, and criminal policies of governments worldwide. Introduction. Cryptocurrencies have become part of the global financial system with a capitalization of several billion dollars, despite of not having a legitimate state entity to support them. This is how cryptocrime is created, a term proposed by the media that covers a wide range of illegal activities such as fraud, theft, and information kidnapping. However, for this investigation, we limited our examination of money laundering in Colombia. In the legal field, cryptocurrencies are not money of financial assets, but they can be considered consumer products that can be handled as a form of payment in which any person, natural or legal, can make investments. Therefore, being a consumer good involves applying for consumer rights. In order to develop the problem posed, first of all, the characteristics of cryptocurrencies that facilitate money laundering are discussed. Then the money laundering methods used by organized crime in Colombia are described, and finally, the state of the matter and the legal situation in Colombia are presented. Method. Using a theoretical deductive methodology, we address the phenomenon of cryptocrime and how it converges in the framework of a cyber-physical system with other phenomena, such as organized crime, corruption, and money laundering. This is done through a systematic method that examines documentation, compiled from reports of financial bodies and scientific analysis, concluding that this represents a social-legal challenge since not only has the lack of regulation of cryptocurrencies generated this phenomenon, but legal sanctions do not fulfill the preventive function and intended, and criminal punishment does not prevent the crime. Results: attributes of cryptocurrencies suggestive of organized crime. Intelligence agencies worldwide and the media have reported on criminal organizations' use of cryptocurrencies in their criminal activities in Colombia. One case that exposes that is being claimed here is the White Tulip operation, in which a transactional drug trafficking network with operation in Spain and Colombia laundered assets through the acquisition of Bitcoin. It purchased the illicit profits of cryptocurrencies from Spain and transferred them to the digital wallets of members of the network in Colombia. Once received in the wallet, they were transformed into fiduciary money, if applicable, or kept in virtual currency. In any case, tracking money from criminal activities is a challenge, mainly because of the characteristics offered by this type of digital exchange. Okay, the table one: attributes of digital assets captured by cryptocurrencies. Features of cryptocurrency, method of use, equivalence for organized crime. Anonymity. Transactions are recorded chronologically, irreversibly, and publicly of the blockchain, but don't provide data that links a person to a specific wallet. Multiple Bitcoin addresses can be created to avoid recording repeated movements from one address to another. Free access. Bitcoins, being a digital currency, can be used all over the planet without restriction or conditions. It is possible to send the money raised from their illegal activities to other organizations, members anywhere. Non-centralized system, no controlling entity establishes its value and issuance, so anyone can install the software and join the network. It is possible to carry out transactions, purchase of money laundering without the intermediation of a state entity. Low transaction amount. The average fee for sending Bitcoin to a wallet is between $1 and $3, with occasional skips to up to 30 or more, depending on the transaction amount. Other cryptocurrencies like XRP is the native crypto token of the Ripple network, and Solana only charge a fraction of a cent per transaction. It is attractive because the transaction, usually involving large amounts of money, only require a minimal commission. Peer-to-peer transactions. It consists of systems that allow network users to contact each other without third-party intervention. This system facilitates direct transfers between users without the mediation of banks or government institutions. Final transactions. In the Bitcoin system, reversing a transaction is impossible since it would mean reversing several blockchain actions. This provides security since the transferred money will remain safe in the destination wallet. Exchange fiat money. Selling this virtual currency by exchanging it for any other traditional currency is possible. They can send the money in the form of bitcoins and then convert it back to fiat currency and thus launder their assets. Considering the above, cryptocurrencies constitute a system that facilitates money laundering for criminal associations around the world and allows the execution of a variety of punishable acts. How this criminal activity is carried out is very practical given the facilities offered by the cryptocurrency system. With the illicit profits obtained, cryptocurrencies are purchased, then they can be converted to fiduciary money, sent to the digital wallets of another crypto user, or made purchases and payments for goods and services, thus making it impossible to trace and therefore determine the illegality of the money and the configuration of the crime of money laundering. Discussion. Criminal networks in Colombia have been developing strategies to facilitate money laundering, such as cyber bureaus, like what is knock and mules in drug trafficking. It consists of recruiting a group of people whose identities are used to acquire large volumes of crypto assets that appear to be several buyers. The regulation of cryptocurrencies should be on the agenda of national governments seeking to train public and intelligence forces to dismantle criminal networks through which human rights are violated in the world, perpet- perpetuating and financing all types of crimes, including terrorism. Therefore, the Financial Action Task Force is insufficient to arrest members of these criminal networks. Since these organizations are quickly restructured, it is important to determine the modus operandi of their financial structure, corporate networks, trust bank accounts, movable and immovable property, and now their digital cryptocurrency wallets to stop their illegal movements. Consequently, national governments face the challenge of regulating cryptocurrencies. To conclude, the International Organizations of Securities Commissions presented 18 recommendations on managing cryptocurrencies and digital assets. The World Economic Forum's Pathways to the Regulation of the Crypto Assets report defines regulatory advances in this area. This forum works to the Digital Assets Regulatory Initiative, which examines the effects of different states' guidelines, guidelines for legislating digital assets. Status of crypto assets in Colombia. Colombia is estimated to be the fourth country in the region with the highest trading volume of crypto assets and 32nd in the world. The existence of risk and digital movements in the case of losses has generated uncertainty among crypto users and companies in the market. Regarding money laundering, Colombia has mostly been affected by high rates of organized crime and corruption. According to 11, money laundering has a direct impact on trust in financial institutions and fosters illicit activities that perpetuate insecurity, poverty, and inequality. The modalities of money laundering that include the use of cryptocurrencies are as follows. Okay, from companies and international trade. Organized crime and drug trafficking are one of the main sources of illicit income in the country and, as mentioned, make use of the characteristic of cryptocurrency for money laundering, as well as methods such as the use of corruption in the aware of public contract. High-profile corruption cases have shown how capital derived from bribes and kickbacks is laundered through complex networks that use cryptocurrencies to legalize their illicit assets, which is facilitated by the lack of transparency in the awarding of contracts by the government, acquisition of property with illicit funds. The real estate sector has been permeated by criminality, allowing criminals to purchase real estate and thus integrate illicit money into the formal economic system, which now also allows payment through cryptocurrencies. The increased use of cryptocurrencies in Colombia, coupled with a lack of clear regulation, presents significant risks. Criminals take advantage of unsupervised exchange platform and fintech to move illicit funds, aggravating security and financial stability. Regulation of cryptocurrencies in Colombia. El Banco de la República has clarified that cryptocurrencies are not considered legal tenders, are not officially recognized as a means of payment, and have warned about the volatility and risk associated with investing in these assets. In addition, has been reiterative regarding the prevention of money laundering and terrorist financing concerning cryptocurrencies. Talk an external circular, and in the interest of transparency, it establishes a duty to report suspicious transactions related to the use of virtual assets. The National Tax and Customs Directorate, referring to tax effects, considers digital assets as intangible assets susceptible to having value, constituting part of the patrimony and can lead to the obtaining of income. Therefore, for tax purposes, they must be incorporated as intangible assets. Therefore, Colombian residents who have crypto assets in their asset must include them in their annual income tax return, specifically in the equity section, considering the provision of the tax statute. The value of which they must be declared is their equity value, which may vary depending on whether the crypto assets are held as a fixed asset or a movable asset, as established in the tax statute. In legal matters, regulatory proposals have been formulated, but none of them have materialized. The last bill proposed the establishment of a regulation for virtual asset service providers to achieve consumer protection. Some guidelines have been issued by financial and supervisory bodies. However, there is still a lack of uncertainty regarding cryptocurrencies. If they are considered as a simple exchange tool, their regulatory significance will be inadequate, producing an illegality by default. Uh, Currently, these are legal development in this area. Bueno, ya aquí la última parte viene siendo pues como un análisis más fundamental y un poco más gráfico de los decretos que están intentando realizar. Básicamente el objetivo principal del artículo fue analizar cómo las criptomonedas, aunque son una innovación financiera, están siendo utilizadas por organizaciones criminales para lavar dinero en Colombia. Entonces, las criptomonedas tienen características que son muy atractivas, y es que son anónimas, que no están controladas por un banco central, permiten transferencias globales, cobran comisiones bajas y que las transacciones son irreversibles. Esas mismas ventajas se pueden convertir en riesgos cuando son usadas para actividades ilícitas. ¿Sí? Como en el caso del artículo, explica cómo la operación White Tulip, donde la red de narcotráfico utilizó Bitcoin para mover recursos desde España hasta Colombia. El dinero ilícito lo transformaban en criptomonedas, lo enviaban a billeteras digitales en Colombia y ya luego se convertía en nuevo dinero fiduciario, dificultando pues como tal el rastreo. También mencionaron la nueva modalidad de los ciberburreros, ¿sí? O cibermulas, como los llaman, que son personas contratadas para comprar grandes volúmenes de criptomonedas en nombre de las redes criminales, y así fragmentan las operaciones para darle apariencia de legalidad. Ya en cuanto a Colombia, pues el Banco de la República declaró que las criptomonedas no son moneda de curso legal, pero la DIAN exige declararlas como activos en el patrimonio. Entonces, a pesar de esto, pues no existe ninguna regulación integral. Ya, ya eso genera como tal vacíos legales que por supuesto el crimen organizado siempre lo aprovecha. Ya en conclusión, pues el artículo señala que las criptomonedas en sí no son ilegales, pero la falta de regulación ha permitido que se conviertan en un mecanismo ideal para el lavado de activos, para el lavado de dinero. Eso representa un reto enorme para la justicia, para la policía, la política pública, porque exige nuevas estrategias de regulación, de supervisión y obviamente de cooperación internacional, porque es una moneda que fluye a nivel mundial. Así muchos gobiernos no la consideren como moneda legal, es una criptomoneda que fluye a nivel mundial. Bueno, y esto ya, digamos, como aprendizaje para nuestra carrera, que es la ingeniería financiera, pues nos deja aprendizajes bastante claros. Primero, la innovación financiera siempre se debe evaluar junto con los riesgos que puede traer. Segundo, que la regulación y la transparencia son fundamentales para la confianza en los mercados. Y tercero, que tenemos que desarrollar habilidades en análisis de riesgo, sí o sí, en el cumplimiento normativo y en la ética financiera, porque sin esto, pues los instrumentos modernos como las criptomonedas pueden terminar fortaleciendo al crimen organizado en lugar de la economía. Y ya, pues sí, en síntesis el artículo nos enseña que la ingeniería financiera debe ir más allá de la rentabilidad. Tiene que integrar la ética, la regulación y la prevención de delitos financieros. Esta es como la enseñanza que nos deja para el futuro. Muchas gracias.